Greetings, Jedi traders. David here of TradingFibs.com to bring you the daily trend for end of the week, week 40, day 5. It is Friday, October 7th, 2016. As always, please seek financial advisement when trading with your money, as these videos are for educational purposes only. Support your knowledge in the market, see what's going through my head on any given day. Always make sure you have a solid trading plan and always manage your stop when placing a trade. All right, we got a bunch of charts to look at, rolling up the week as we head into deep October. Well, only the second week coming up, but it seems like we're deep in October as we finish off the week. Limited setups, not too bad. Actually got to add the total there. Apologize, 381 plus 104. Gotta get on top of that. All right, there are stats for today. 3 setups, all on the ES. Actually missed a couple entries on the NQ. Just let them go and put all the energy into the ES today. So not a bad day on the ES with 3 setups there, bringing our total up to 381 plus 104. Nice week for 13 setups. Employment situation. You would think that the market was rolling up to one single number this week, but it seemed with a whole bash from Europe to whatever's going on in the world and pre-election and rate hikes, it just seems to not get any ground here. And we'll see that on the big picture. All right, let's jump right into the charts. Let's see where some of the trends were today as we look at today's session. There it was, non-farm payrolls this morning. September payrolls coming out and immediate retraction there. Again, I love that saying the markets can stay irrational longer than you can stay solid. Don't even try to understand. You would think non-farm payrolls, that's right, low number. And with rate hikes, possibility continues to decrease. You'd think markets would fly up, but whoever knows, you know, you just got to be ready every single day with the trend. And that's where you use the simplicity of the 5144, a T310, a T350, a couple other moving averages to keep you in trend or keep you out of the trade. All right, so there it was, ES on the move, non-farm payrolls, just left it alone. Don't like to do anything around those numbers. Like to observe it and wait till things calm down a little bit, and things sure did calm down here. And this was a little bit of a nice drop there around the European close as market action on all four. This is the screen share in the live trading room where we're taking a look in the upper left-hand corner. Crude, gold, taking a look at the 6E and the 3 indices downside. That's a rarity, an anomaly almost in itself. All charts in the red, everything coming down, and actually getting a little piece of that. So there it was on the ES today, focusing, putting all the energy in the ES. It was a pretty quiet week on the ES. Only had one solid day on the NQ on Tuesday, and came back today on the ES. So there it was, one nice move, tweeting out all those nice setups. Again, Globex low was around here. You might have just waited for those entries, or you scalped them, or you guys took a loss, perhaps. But either way, some of these nice trendy moves with all charts in the sync put you in the high tick category. And the whole idea is to ride it down, not in and out all the time. That's the idea to build up to. Whether you're there or not, it's a progression. Eventually, markets found their way. They're the 3 indices finding their way back upside after a little bit of consolidation. Keeping out of the noise by staying on a higher time frame chart. And once price action started to break through the cloud, went back to the original time frames, and there was the breakout, all 3 across. What a move there it was to the upside as the ES ramps it up above the cloud. Long setup, price action, watching Globex low, VWAP up here, and there it was. You had to watch that AD line as we talk about every day. The AD line downstairs to the 920 low and consolidation across the board, and then breakout play together. What a sweet move to the upside on the ES. So there it was on the morning session. ES to the downside, one off. Just didn't know where things were going today. Didn't want to run them all. Didn't have all charts in sync. So there you go. Run one off, and price action crossed the T310 and out. Simple today. Left the 2 in the middle alone, and then price action broke downside again with 5 charts. That's right, all 5 charts in sync. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down the row. Run multiple contracts and decide just to bail on the crossover. Good enough. That was your AM session on the ES. And what's the reason for bailing out there? There it was, 920 low. Why not? Yeah, looks like a good place to take off one contract maybe, and maybe price action would continue. But with the 920 low, this is the outlier, deep in the AD territory. That's good enough. Price action actually ended up chopping as we saw on the chart previous. Let's go back here. There it was. Price action came down here, chopped across, and then eventually lifted. So good call there on the lows. Price action in the PM session after that consolidation in price on the ES. Got a nice lift here. Solid body tail up and bang to the upside. One contract off. Don't have all charts in sync. Good enough. Price action again. Didn't break the cloud. What do you got to lose? Stop at break even down here. Never broke. And then once price action broke that cloud in the VWAP, that was good enough to end the session. There it was. Again, once again, look at that AD line right at the numbers 200. And once it decided it just wasn't going any further, time to bail. All right, let's take a look at the AD lines as we've been talking about all week. NISS NYSE. The NISS NYSE, nice price action. Again, the dashed line, some of the outliers of where price actions reach. But for the majority, price action 1600. That's a norm for the AD line there. And there it was. Sure enough, support on the NYSE to the downside as price action tried to get a wallop back upside as we saw. I'm sorry, that's yesterday's session. I meant today's session. Downside 1600, got a little bit of lift, and then pretty much plateau for the remainder of the day. And let's take a look at the other three as we've been looking at the NISS NQ price action on the AD line. There we saw the lows, negative 90, holding to the line as we do to the upper extreme 90, and price action sure enough held. Good trade management. Price action got a lift back to the upside and held at the negative 45. Very similar as we saw on the YM and the ES. Let's take a look at the ES there. Nope, that's the NQ. I apologize. There we go. SP, S&P right down there. There it was, 381 to the lows and never bounced downwards and upwards. And so if price action's not leading upwards on the AD line, most likely not going to see it on the range charts, and that's exactly what happened. Nice containment there. And YM, similar picture as price action came down here on the AD line and bang, right up to the upside to the pivot. So picked its line and held, and price action not moving up any further. All right, so we'll go over those in the weeks to come. It's starting to become a staple here to watch those in sync with each individual index as well as the AD line. Speaking of AD lines, one other interesting oscillator, the McClellan oscillator, not using it for any type of setups, just observing it from the perspective of where is market trend overall. Daily charts, as you can see, overall daily trend has been coming down on the oscillator. Some of the index here, again, you can see this on Sierra charts. You can use these on your Thinkorswim as they are our two sub-studies down at the bottom. Make sure you use it on a advanced decliner, in this specific using the $ADD here on the Thinkorswim platform, and here on the Sierra charts, NISS NYSE, together with the oscillators below. We'll be reading up on that in the weeks to come and seeing how we can apply that more to our daily big picture as we roll into the charts here. Let's get back to the charts here in a second as we take a look at the daily gaps. No significant gaps closed today or formed. We are hanging at the highs. Was hoping crude can pull a little higher, but hey, you know what? A couple days of movement upside, and you can see crude not going anywhere. But a little bit of pullback. So nice to have a little bit of pullback. Looking for 55.41 upside. And as NQ holds at the recent highs, we could see the consolidation across the boards as we head into the month of October here. Fibonacci levels did pretty good. Price action downside closed out all three across the board. All right, let's jump into the charts as we see the 6E here. Euro, again, nice session on the Euro. Very smooth, contained. Overnight session was a... there was the overnight session. Price action lift to the upside. Non-farm payrolls came out pretty quick. And then once the U.S. session opened here, very smooth controlled entries. Again, you might have been stopped out on the swing lows here with the re-entry. 5 charts in the green, very nice. Finally, 2 charts in the red. Good start to get you in for a short, and then back to the upside to close it out. So nice move on the 6E. So uptrend on the 6E as the rest of the markets tailed down. Gold, again, has been a story all week. Got another picture on that gold today as price action on the gold came down all the way 5 charts in the red here, swinging down, and kind of a repeat of where we've been all week. As you can see, former charts back here posting throughout the week. Really the trend of the week on gold as it ripped to the downside underneath the cloud, underneath the VWAP. So I'd say gold finished out flat as it came down and was able to retrace back upside in the afternoon session. Let's take a look at the crude as crude price action today. There we go. As we saw on the big picture there, price action again, best of setups here, about an hour and a half post open of the crude. A couple of opportunities here. Again, you might have been stopped out. Get that first contract off and bring that stop to a manageable place where you don't lose. But overall trend was to the downside. Here was the best of the setups. And once you got yourself in a trade, it's knowing how to manage it, bringing that stop to a manageable place, and then watching the price action. And that's all it takes, simplicity of the charts. All right, we went over the ES charts. Let's take a quick look at the we looked at the ES. Let's take a look at the YM and the NQ. There's our YM chart for today. Price action again, very similar to that ES price action here, as we saw a couple of opportunities to the downside here. And then once price action got a footing here, 5 charts in the red, and then there it was in the afternoon session after some consolidation, lift up above the 144 cloud and above the T350. And our last chart, the NQ, taking a look at, there it was, same picture. Again, that nice afternoon breakout. So uptrend, downtrend turns into a nice move back upside, about 61.8% retracement. But from overall, the big picture was downtrend for the day, as we spent the majority of the session actually up until about 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Okay, taking a look as we move ahead. That's yesterday, that's today, and where can we go from here? Well, let's take a look at the daily pick. It's price action still in consolidation between the two levels here on the charts. I drew those in white here. Sitting between the 50 and the 200 on the YM and the ES. NQ sitting still above. Good volume today. I go to the 4-hour charts to give me more of a short-term picture, as I can see the 50 above the 144. So I got to go with the uptrend, but I am in a pullback as price action has pulled below the T350. So uptrend pullback on the NQ. We still got the 50 for support. We still have the 50 EMA here on the 4-hour. I still have the 144 downside in case NQ decides to come down next week. ES and YM, a little bit different story as we sit in between the two gaps. It's decision time. Very consolidated in between the 50 144. Both of the ES and YM are still in downtrend pullback, as we're still above the T350 on the YM, but the ES confirmed downtrend back downside again. So we'll see if the ES is going to lead the other two indices into next week, but we are in the gap here and within the gap and consolidated upstairs. Got to be ready both directions, but I like the ES starting to confirm a downtrend. We'll want to see a day or two follow through, but that's the initial sign there that we're headed down, as we did back here first week at the beginning of the week as price action came downside, but again was able to pull back, but a lot of resistance to the upside, and we have not followed through. So I gotta stick with the downtrend on the ES at this point. All right, daily big pick 2 here as we look at the CL crude still holding to the upside. Got to go with the continued uptrend on the crude, and gold continued downtrend, GLD or whatever ETF or option you're trading there. Got to go with the downside as we're now below the 5200, still hanging around the 200. A lot of volume today as price action holding down. Again, it could have just been a sell-off week. Yet to see. Would like to see a pullback up here to the 50. If it holds and comes back down, definitely continued downtrend as we see the bonds, same picture, ripping to the downside. And last 3, the EMD Midcap 400, as we've seen a lot of chop this week across the T350 and the 5144. Still have to go with the downtrend, the 50 below the 144 like the ES, and back downside. A lot of chop up here at consolidation. So it's decision time also on the EMD. Watch for the intraday and then follow through on the 4-hour to see if we continue to the downside. And our last 2, 6E. Looking at the euro here, price action pulls back upside today as the U.S. markets pull back down. Price action again, resistance here at the 51.44. We are in the red. Got to still go with the downtrend, but a downtrend pullback, as well as the 6J, the yen, holding into the gap. I got to go with the downtrend, but I do have a downtrend below the T350. So slight pullback here, but I'm going with the continued downtrend on the yen. And better yet, if we find resistance, just like we're seeing here at the 6E, finding a pullback here, resistance, and come back down, even better as we roll into next week. All right, taking a look ahead at the economic data for next week as we go into October 10th on Monday, U.S. holiday, Columbus Day. Markets will be open, maybe a little lighter, so we'll see how price action moves. Tuesday and Wednesday, kind of light here. Wednesday, a couple of Fed speakers, FOMC minutes on Wednesday, lead into Thursday, a little bit more red star events, and PPI on Friday. Watch for Yellen on Friday as well, and markets to be in tune. Hey guys, as always, each week I do a week recap, so I'll go ahead and post that this weekend. Make sure to check it out. It's just a couple of quick big picture economic data. I'll see week 39 recap. You can see I go ahead and post the big econ picture, and then chart of the week, which this week will most likely be gold, and then as well as the stats for the week. Kind of instead of going back over each individual day, you can just capture that. All right, that concludes an insight into the state of the indices, the daily trend, and the market. Feel free to stop by tradingfibs.com or any of my social media outlets to obtain more information. My trading mantra: one simple strategy, any market, any chart, any time frame will keep you disciplined. You can find me every day on Twitter and at Trading Fibs. And as always, I leave the crystal ball to the experts. I only trade what's in front of me on my charts. And as always, leave your bias at the door when trading. Hey guys, a lot of projects in the works. Got to get on that ETF portfolio that I said I would do this week, and I promise that to you. We'll look at that next week. Hey guys, have yourselves a Blue Zone weekend. Good day, good night, and wherever you are, good trading to you.